Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the secondary Incarnon weapon, the Lato Vandal. Now in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix it with external factors that would increase weapon performance. That would be things like Warframes using abilities, pets putting statuses in enemies, things like that. I just test the weapon built out by itself, and I leave it up to the viewer to make their own intelligent conclusions about adding those external things. Now, the other thing I wanted to add here is I want your guys' feedback on a decision I'm thinking of doing. And that's going to be, I'm thinking on Wednesdays, I will be doing a different game video. I think it could be fun. I'll be showcasing a different game on Wednesdays. It might not always be the same game, but if I have, like, let's say I do Helldivers, if people are really interested in Helldivers, I could do that every Wednesday. That would be cool too. Or I could do a different game every Wednesday. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. And that'll still leave 4 days for Warframe. Warframe is always going to be my main game. I love Warframe. I have 2 clans in it, so I'm very invested in Warframe. But I just wanted to see what your guys' opinions are on that. Like, are you okay with me going down to 4 days a week on Warframe? Now, with that, I'm going to make sure that if I do go down to 4 days a week on Warframe, I'm loading up those 4 days with more meaningful content. So I'm doing weapons that are more meta. I'm doing weapons that are more new and are more like sought after, instead of doing like these weird off the wall weapons. I like doing weird off the wall weapons that no one ever uses, but you know, maybe if I'm only doing 4 days a week, I should kind of load it up a little bit more with more meaningful weapons. So give me your guys' thoughts on that. Okay, we have the top commenter of the last video. It is going to be Valraven48. The first commenter of the last video, the okayest playa 47. And our recent supporters of Toxic Sneeze, Johnny and Eddie. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, we are doing the Lato Vandal Incarnon today. This is I feel like this is a weapon that a lot of people sleep on, but this is a hidden doomsday machine in this game. This thing is extremely friggin' powerful. Let's go into the arsenal and we'll explain some weird things about this first. So, okay. Technically, the Lato Vandal is not the most powerful version of the Lato. The most powerful version of the Lato is the Prime. So there's 3 Latos. There's the Lato, Lato Vandal, Lato Prime. Three Latos. The Prime is the most powerful. The Vandal is the second most powerful. And the regular Lato is the weakest. Now, unfortunately, the Lato Prime is not obtainable anymore. It was only obtainable if you were a founder of the game. You bought one of the founder packs, and the thing is if you bought like the base founder pack, you would get Excal Prime, but you actually had to buy one of the more expensive founder packs to get the Lato Prime. So people that have the Lato Prime or the Skana Prime are actually even more rare than people that have Excal Prime, because they had to buy the more expensive founders packs. So if you are like the 0.1% of people that watch me that have the Lato Prime, then use the Lato Prime with this build. It'll be the exact same. It'll just be slightly better because it has increased stats. Now, if you're the 99.9% of people, including myself, who don't have the Lato Prime, then our choice is going to be using the Lato Vandal. All right, now let's explain the Lato Vandal and how this is also extremely difficult to get. So the Lato Vandal drops in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. The Blueprint and the Receiver drop in pretty easy content. I think like one of them drops in like Zone 2, one of them drops in Zone 4. So like they're not really that hard to get. You might actually even be sitting on the Blueprint and the Receiver already if you check your inventory. However, the barrel of the Lato Vandal drops, same thing, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, but it drops in Zone 8. So you have to be going all the way to Zone 8. It only has about a 2% drop rate. So that's like pretty long content for a 2% drop rate. On average, you're going to be getting this, or you're going to be getting the barrel part of it after 50 runs of Sanctuary or Elite Sanctuary Onslaught Zone 8s. And that's on average. You might get unlucky and have to do like way more than that. So a little bit about myself is I am a no life sack of shit, and I farm everything. well, almost everything. I farm like 99.9% of content. If it's farmable, I will farm it. I try not to buy anything in the game. The Lato Vandal barrel was one item I actually bought. The barrel for this and the Bratton Vandal blueprint was another item that I bought because those two pieces are so friggin' rare that after years of doing Sanctuary Onslaught just passively, I still didn't have those items. And I ended up just buying the barrel for it. So I would probably suggest, farm up the blueprint, farm up the receiver, and then maybe farm for some plat and eventually just buy the barrel. Because farming for the barrel, you might burn yourself out doing it. Okay, enough about that. Let's actually get into the friggin' Lato Vandal here. Let's go over the unique and interesting things about the Lato Vandal. Okay, so it's a semi-automatic pistol and it's non-incarnate form. And it's an incarnate form. It is still a semi-automatic pistol, but it gets some extra cool things about it. So it gets increased damage stats, obviously, but it also gets 2 multi-shot. It gets 0.8 innate punch through on the incarnate. And shots ricochet to one nearby enemy within 9 meters. And if you have punch through, which again, this gets innately 0.8, but punch through shots can make more ricochets. So if like your main bullet punches through and hits like the main dude and a guy behind it, it'll be 2 ricochets. So that could be really cool. Now, the Lato Vandal has a really, really spicy evolution. We'll get to the evolutions after the mods, but it has a very, very spicy evolution that increases the base stats by a gigantic amount. So that's going to be really cool when we get to it there. Now, it does change the way you have to play this weapon. This weapon plays very uniquely. And I'll explain that when we get to it. So let's go over the mods here. We have Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot. We have Galvanized Crosshairs for critical chance. We have Creeping Bullseye for critical chance. We have Prime Target Cracker for critical damage. We have Lethal Torrent for fire rate and multi-shot. We have Sharpened Bullets for more critical damage. I just want to point to the Lato Vandal Incarnon's crazy crit multiplier that it has here. So any kind of increase to critical damage is god tier. So like Sharpened Bullets is on most weapons is usually like, it's only plus 75%, not really worth it. On this weapon, very, very, very worth it. Definitely use this. All right, and in the last 2 slots here, we have the 2 mods to make viral. So we're going to have Frostbite, which is the 60-60 cold, and we're going to have Pistol Pestilence, which is the 60-60 toxin to make viral. I want to point out this weapon's status chance, which is extremely booty. This weapon has very, very booty status chance at 22%, and it's 22% after putting on 2 60-60s. So like it really, really booty. Now, fortunately, viral is a element that if it only gets produced one time, hey, you still get a lot of value out of it because a single stack of viral, the first stack of viral on an enemy, is worth 100% increased damage to health. Whereas every proc after that is only worth 25%. So if you can get more procs, hey, it's great, but the first one gives you the most value. So having a weapon that has a really poor status chance, if you have viral, not too bad. You'll actually still get quite a lot of value out of it. Now, of course, there's a lot of ways to externally produce viral. And if you had a way to externally produce viral, you wouldn't need to put it on your weapon here. And in that case, you're going to take these 2 off. And you will put Primed Heated Charge in this last slot here. I can't fit it, but you would put Primed Heated Charge in this last slot. You might say, well, you have only a 10% status chance. Why are you putting Primed Heated Charge? It's not really for the actual proc. It's just because putting, this weapon right now has no elements on it. By adding a single element, it actually increases like the damage calculation by a gigantic amount. So even though we probably won't get a lot of heat procs at all, you're still going to be increasing the damage of the weapon by a huge amount by just having this on there. So you put Primed Heated Charge here, and then you have 1 extra slot. And like we said, we have crazy critical multiplier. So what are we going to do? We're just going to type in crit hit. I can't spell. Oh, I just added an equal sign. Oh my goodness, what are you doing, Salt? Critical damage. And yeah, you just find one of these other critical damage mods to put on it. You could do Merciless Gunfight for 45% crit damage and 1.2 punch through. Remember, punch through is really cool. Punch through can technically be making it ricochet 2 times if it hits a dude behind your first dude. Or you could do Hollow Point for a little bit more critical damage. You just don't get the punch through with it. So you could choose either one of these two here. I wouldn't go Magnetic Might. This is another one that has critical damage. It also gives you Magnetic, but like the status chance is so booty, it's not really worth it. So go Hollow Point or you go Merciless Gunfight. Up to you there. And, you know, the heat mod in this last slot. Alrighty, let me put my Viral back on, though. Viral, and I got my Cold, and I got my 60/60 Tox. There we go. Okie dokie. In the Exilus slot, this is going to be a little bit dependent if you change the way I have the build. If you don't change the way I have my build, you will be using Spry Sights. Or nothing, because you don't really need anything. If you wanted to be cheap and like save a Forma maybe, you could just leave the Exilus slot empty, honestly, because Spry Sights is only a plus 20% movement speed when aiming. Like, it's a quality of life mod, but even as a quality of life mod, it's a very small quality of life improvement. But we don't really need anything else in the Exilus here. Now, if you didn't follow my build, something that you should know is that you're going to need 2 forms of minus weapon recoil for you to completely remove the recoil. I'm going to be using Secondary Deadhead, which is a form of minus weapon recoil, and one of the evolutions is also going to give me minus weapon recoil. So I don't need to use Steady Hands. But if for some reason you were going to change either one of those things, then you would maybe consider Steady Hands in this Exilus slot. Okay, in the Arcane, we're going to be going for Secondary Deadhead. This is going to give us 360% flat damage, plus 30% headshot multiplier, and minus 50% weapon recoil. And that is how you build out the Lato Vandal Incarnon. Like I said, if you didn't have, or if you had a external viral primer, then just make those adjustments like I said before. Let's go over the evolutions now for the Lato Vandal here. First evolution is that you've just unlocked the weapon. Congratulations. Second evolution, this is a little bit of a spicy one, because actually both of these are really good. It's just that one of these has a conditional. So let's look at the one we're using first. Reified Bane, or Reified Bane, I don't know how to say that. Increases base damage by plus 12, and on reload from empty, increases base damage by plus 30. This is one of those mods, or one of those evolutions, where as long as you don't manually reload ever, you can actually maintain that reload from empty buff forever. So as long as you don't manually reload, you can just look at this as plus 42% base damage, which is really friggin' nice. Now, the other one to the left is actually going to be even better, but it has a conditional. Let's look at it here. Haven Foray increases base damage by plus 22, and with Overshields increases base damage by plus 40. So this could be a possible plus 62% increase. Remember, the Reified Bane was plus 42, and this one's plus 62. Now, Haven Foray is unfortunately only going to be the option if you have a Warframe that has consistent Overshields on. Not all Warframes are like that, you know, but if you're playing like a Hildren, a Shield Harrow, I think Protea can pretty much like maintain pretty consistent Overshields on herself. If you're playing a Warframe that can maintain consistent Overshields on themselves, Haven Foray will be the better option, because it's just, you know, it's 62 instead of 42. Obviously, bigger number equals betterer. But if you're not playing an Overshield Warframe, don't worry. Just plop on Reified Bane. It's still plus 42%, or not 42%, plus 42 base damage. Okay, let's go into the third evolution here. Void's Guidance. This is going to give us plus 50% accuracy and minus 50% weapon recoil. Remember how I said I have 2 forms of negative weapon recoil, and one of them was an evolution? It's this one right here. So this is going to give us that negative weapon recoil that we really need, and the accuracy is nice because we're doing a headshot build. The other options aren't really that great here. Marksman's Gain is on a headshot. We get ammo efficiency. Doesn't work for the Incarnon mode. And Exact Penance is on a kill, 50% chance for an instant reload. We don't really need that. So we're going to be going Void's Guidance. Fourth evolution, and this is the spicy one. This is what makes the Lato Vandal a doomsday machine. We are going to be going for Death Trap Trigger. On equipped from primary, increases base critical chance by plus 38%, and increases base critical damage multiplier by plus 2.6 times for 4 seconds. Now, there's a few things that I want to point out here, is that this is base. This is base critical chance and base critical damage. That's huge. Everything scales off of base stats. Now, another thing you might notice is that this requires you to be switching. This requires you to be doing an FF switch to get this buff for 4 seconds. And so this is a holster style weapon. So, okay, so this is the one you'll be going for. Now, I wanted to maybe show some externals that you could also add for holster style weapons. There's actually a lot of them. I'll probably miss a few of them. So if I didn't show some of them, make sure to let me know in the comments. But on the Warframe itself, not all Warframes are going to have a free slot, but like let me just put in Vigorous Swap. So Vigorous Swap is on an equipped, you get plus 165% damage for 3 seconds. It's really nice. That'll work with our holster type gameplay. Unfortunately, it's a Warframe mod. Not all Warframes are going to have room for this. Another one I know of is Chroma Subsume. Let me go up into our little helmet area here. Let me type in Chroma. Elemental Ward, if you use the green version, the toxic version, you see how this has holster damage, holster duration, reload speed, status chance. So this is another kind of holster type buff that you get. So there's a lot of ways to like externally increase weapons that have a holster type gameplay. There's only a few weapons in the game that have like good holster style. Hold on a second. Oh my goodness, my cat almost turned my computer off. Give me 1 second, I'm sorry. What are you doing, Freya? All right, I have returned. My cat jumped on my tower and almost pressed the off button. Okay, she didn't like the video. She's not a fan of the Lato Vandal Incarnon, as we can tell here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show this in gameplay. I'm going to show this on a big dumb Anaros that has no Archon shards that increase weapon performance. No mods or arcanes on the Anaros that increase weapon performance. And with a pet with no sentinel weapon and no mods on the pet that increase weapon performance. And I'm going to be showing how to play this because you need to be doing an FF switch to get that huge buff. So that's why I have the Grokata. If you didn't notice, that's why I have the Grokata in my primary slot. Normally when I do these tests, I literally just have the weapon I'm testing, but I have the Grokata. That way I'm able to do an FF switch. So on PC, it's going to be, you're just going to press FF to go to your, well, you press F to go to your primary, and then you press F again immediately to go right back to your secondary. So you don't even need to like be in your primary for like 0.1 seconds, and then you go right back to your secondary, and you get the buff because it's on equipped. Now, if you're on console, there's probably a different button to switch back and forth, but I'm on solo, Steel Path, Mott.
The art of combat must be practiced to truly master the canvas of war.
Okay, so before we start, I want you to just notice in the top right on the buff bar, if I do an FF switch and I go back to my Lato, you'll see I have a buff here. Shaboom for 4 seconds. And that's how quick it is. Just a quick FF, bam, bam, and you get that buff. And now also the reload from empty thing, I just want to show you that here. Reload. I have that reified Bane, which is on the top there. And as long as I don't manually reload, I can keep going like from Incarnon, from non-Incarnon, like, and it'll just stay up there, and I'll get that plus 42 base damage. So, okay. Let's do this here.
Just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support capsules your way.
All right, I'm going to go into Incarnon. I'm going to do a FF switch. I'm going to fill this up again. I'm going to go into Incarnate. I'm going to do an FF switch. If you see yourself going back into oranges, just do another quick FF switch and you're back at it there. So holster gameplay is not that hard. It's just that it's a little bit unique to like normal gameplay. So you just got to get like the muscle memory down a bit. Go into Incarnate, FF switch, shaboom. I see oranges, so I'm just going to do another FF real quick. Incarnon. FF. Oranges, so I'm going to do another FF real quick. Again, if you're on console, I'm sorry. It's not going to be FF. It's going to be something else. It's going to be like XX or OO or something. I don't know exactly. Let me know. I forgot to do my FF switch there. I don't play a lot of holster weapons, so I can kind of screw this up a bit. They are really strong, though. I think maybe the Vasto Incarnon's also a holster weapon. I can't remember. It's been a while since I did that one. I think that might have been another holster weapon that had a similar thing. Give me them heads. Give me them heads. I need some headshots here. There we go. I mean, you can FF switch the non-incarnate too, like if you want to make the non-incarnate red crit, but I don't really care too much about that. I just want to get my headshots in the non-incarnate and go right back to incarnate. But if you really wanted to like superpower the non-incarnate, you could do that as well. My little cat is coming over again. You better not know. You can't go up there, Freya. You damn asshole. Oh my goodness. She's trying to sabotage the video. All right, I'm back. I'm back. You're going to ruin these kill counts up, Freya. You asshole. She's our new little kitten that we got. She's a little tiny white ragdoll. Ragdolls are usually very expensive, but we got her on clearance because she's an all-white ragdoll, and ragdolls are normally supposed to be like white with... Oh my goodness, she's at it again. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Go play with your brothers. All right, I'm back. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. So she's a ragdoll, which, you know, are usually very expensive. It's like $2,000 friggin' dollars to buy a ragdoll. But we got her on clearance because she is a imperfect ragdoll. So no one wants her except for us. Because they're supposed to have like gray tipped ears and stuff, and she's like all white. Look, I lost my mojo here, Freya. I lost my mojo here. I got to remember how to press my buttons for this. Come on, we're close to the end, Freya. You can be a good girl for once in your life. She's a good... Yeah, she is a good cat, though. She's a nice little cat. We have 3 cats. We have 2 boys, and then the one little kitten.
Extraction is ready.
She is biting the hell out of my headset. Oh my goodness, got my rocket out here. 1 second, let me try to wrangle her a bit. You're ruining the Lato Vandal, Freya. We're not going to be able to use these kill counts at the end because of your incessant behavior.
scavenge and desecrate this sacred realm. Tenno use the keys, but they are mere trespassers. Only I, Thor, know the true power of the void.
So when I do these runs, very meta weapons will be at 900 kills and over. And like average weapons will be in the 500 to 600 kill category in 10 minutes. So this should be a meta weapon, although I don't know if my cat maybe screwed up the scores a bit. So I kind of spent like a minute fighting my cat. And that ruined my mojo. It ruined my mojo. I'm going to ignore Vor. That way I can get more trash kills. Trash and Eximuses. You know, this is kind of like a slower firing, but more powerful dual Toxicist. You're familiar with the dual Toxicist? It has a very similar thing where it like ricochets and like hits something else. This is a slower and more powerful Toxicist. So if you like the dual Toxicist, consider trying out this little guy here. He's got Zephyr's buff up. I hate Mania. Oh, he's going to ruin the scores here, too. He just friggin' ragdolls you, which you can't get immune to. He puts on Zephyr's buff, which means you can't shoot him. Oh, my goodness. Between my cat and Mania... They're ruining the kill counts. They're ruining the kill counts. There we go. We got about a minute left, and then we'll see what our 10-minute kill count is. We're hoping it gets over 900, because I believe this is a very meta weapon. You know, something like the Torrid is going to be easier to use than this, so you might be able to get more kills on the Torrid, just because it's easier to use. But I think if you master this weapon, it might be better. You would have to master it, though. You know, just a random person using the Torrid versus a random person using this. This has a little bit more of a skill ceiling. All right, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Stop shooting here. Let's head to Extraction, and we'll take a gander at our kill count. 895. Yeah, I mean, pretty close to that 900, like, meta category where, like, weapons like the Torrid and stuff would be. I'm going to blame us not getting to 900 on my cat. That sounds good, blaming it on the cat. So, yeah, very meta weapon, very powerful weapon. Unfortunately, kind of hard to get, especially for the barrel. You can farm the other pieces, but the barrel's really hard. I bought that a while ago, and I think when I bought it, it was still like 150 plat for the barrel. I don't know what the price would be nowadays.
It is done, Tenno.
Maybe it might be cheaper. Everything's kind of been going like lower in price. But at one time, it was 150 for the barrel. So that is the Lato Vandal Incarnate. If you guys liked the video, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right, bye.